At its height, Lakewood Church drew around 16,000 people every week into a building that once hosted NBA playoff games and sold-out concerts. What began as a sports arena transformed into one of America's most famous megachurches. The scale was breathtaking: giant video screens, stadium seating, a full choir, and production levels rivaling major entertainment events. To many visitors, the experience felt closer to a live show than a traditional Sunday service. Yet beneath the lights and applause, an important question lingered. If a church is built on spectacle, scale, and constant momentum, what happens when the momentum slows or public trust begins to crack? The arena that became a church, Lakewood's main campus, does not resemble a traditional sanctuary. The building, once filled with the echoes of basketball crowds, now seats more than 16,000 worshipers during services. On Sunday mornings, lights dim and music swells as a choir rises behind the stage. A live band appears from an orchestra lift, while massive screens display lyrics and close-ups for people seated far from the stage. The lobby resembles a bustling arena concourse. Visitors browse a bookstore, grab coffee, and move through wide corridors guided by volunteers. Parking teams manage streams of cars arriving from across the city. The scale and organization make the experience feel like attending a major event rather than a quiet gathering. The megachurch model explained. A megachurch is more than simply a large congregation. Religious researchers typically define it as a Protestant church with at least 2,000 weekly attendees. By 2020, the United States had roughly 1,700 of these massive congregations. Their campuses are often designed like community hubs, offering cafes, bookstores, children's centers, and extensive parking facilities. Services rely on professional sound systems, theatrical lighting, and coordinated teams of volunteers. The goal is to create an environment that feels welcoming and accessible to people who might feel uncomfortable in traditional churches. Instead of solemn rituals, visitors encounter polished presentations, contemporary music, and carefully crafted messages designed for large audiences. The influencers behind the movement. The modern megachurch movement did not emerge overnight. Two influential leaders in California helped shape its direction. Robert Schuller built the Crystal Cathedral and popularized possibility thinking, a message emphasizing optimism and personal potential. His televised program reached millions and proved that faith could be packaged for broadcast audiences. Around the same time, Bill Hybels founded Willow Creek Community Church near Chicago. Hybels pioneered the seeker-sensitive model, which removed traditional rituals and replaced them with contemporary music, drama, and relatable sermons. These innovations turned churches into welcoming environments for newcomers. Over time, their ideas spread nationwide, inspiring congregations to grow larger, more professional, and more media-savvy. Growth fueled by strategy and scale. Megachurches grew by carefully studying what attracted people and refining their approach. Leadership teams analyzed attendance patterns, community demographics, and program effectiveness. Churches invested heavily in facilities capable of hosting thousands every weekend. The result was an environment designed for scale. Comfortable seating, advanced technology, and coordinated volunteer teams ensured that services ran smoothly, even with massive crowds. Lakewood became one of the most visible examples of this strategy in action. Its services combined motivational preaching, energetic music, and polished production. The formula proved powerful. Attendance climbed steadily, and the church's influence expanded far beyond its physical location through television broadcasts and best-selling books. A warning from within the movement. Despite the success of megachurches, concerns began to surface from inside the movement itself. In the mid-2000s, Willow Creek Community Church conducted a large internal study known as the Reveal Project. The results surprised many church leaders. Researchers discovered that higher participation in church programs did not necessarily produce deeper spiritual growth. In other words, attending services and joining activities did not guarantee stronger faith or lasting transformation. Bill Hybels openly acknowledged the findings, calling them a wake-up call. The study sparked conversations across the country about whether the megachurch model emphasized attendance numbers more than genuine spiritual development. Leadership transition at Lakewood. Lakewood's story also includes a major turning point in leadership. In 1999, the church's founder, John Osteen, died suddenly. His son, Joel Osteen, who had previously worked behind the scenes producing the church's television program, stepped into the role of senior pastor. Many observers were unsure how the transition would unfold. Joel brought a different style to the pulpit, shaped by years in broadcast media. His sermons were shorter and focused heavily on encouragement and hope. Instead of emphasizing sin or repentance, he highlighted themes like personal destiny, resilience, and God's favor. The message resonated widely, attracting viewers and readers far beyond Houston. Positivity as a brand. Joel Osteen's optimistic message became the defining feature of Lakewood's identity. His sermons emphasized possibility, motivation, and personal growth. Supporters praised the approach for offering encouragement in difficult times. Critics argued that the focus on positivity avoided harder theological questions about suffering, sacrifice, or moral accountability. Regardless of the debate, the strategy proved incredibly effective in expanding Lakewood's reach. Television broadcasts carried Osteen's messages to millions worldwide. His books topped bestseller lists, and the church's audience grew steadily. What began as a local congregation evolved into a global brand built on inspiration, hope, and the promise that faith could unlock new opportunities. A changing religious landscape. Lakewood's challenges unfolded during a broader shift in American religious life. Surveys show that church attendance across the United States has been declining for years. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated this trend dramatically. When in-person services shut down in 2020, many people developed new routines and never returned to weekly worship. Studies found that the share of Americans who say they never attend religious services increased significantly after the pandemic. This shift reflects deeper cultural changes, including growing secularism, distrust of institutions, and evolving spiritual beliefs. Megachurches, which rely heavily on large weekly gatherings, suddenly faced an uncertain future. Lessons from other megachurches. Lakewood's story echoes patterns seen in other high-profile congregations. Mars Hill Church in Seattle once attracted thousands under the leadership of Pastor Mark Driscoll. At its peak, it operated multiple campuses and had a powerful media presence. However, leadership controversies eventually forced Driscoll to resign in 2014. Without its central figure, the church quickly unraveled and dissolved. The collapse demonstrated how fragile institutions can become when their identity depends heavily on a single charismatic leader. Mega churches often succeed through strong personalities and compelling communication, but that same dependence can create vulnerabilities if leadership falters or public trust erodes. The future of faith communities today, fewer than half of Americans belong to a house of worship, marking a historic shift in the nation's religious landscape. For megachurches, the challenge is not only attracting large crowds, but maintaining meaningful engagement beyond the spectacle of Sunday services. The future may depend on whether these institutions can deepen relationships, encourage personal spiritual growth, and adapt to changing cultural expectations. Buildings and technology can create powerful experiences, but they cannot replace authentic community. As religious participation continues to evolve, churches may need to rethink how they balance scale, influence, and genuine connection. Conclusion: beyond the spectacle, Lakewood Church remains one of the most recognizable mega-churches in the world. Its massive arena, global media reach, and uplifting message have inspired millions. Yet its story also highlights the complex realities of modern religious institutions built on scale and visibility. Spectacle can attract crowds, but long-term trust depends on deeper foundations, community, integrity, and resilience during crises. As cultural attitudes toward religion continue to shift, the real challenge for megachurches may not be filling thousands of seats each week. Instead, it may be nurturing faith that endures even when the lights dim and the crowds grow smaller.